That's just incredible, really, when you think about it. In the whole history of the NCAA, there's only 3 guys that have ever done it, and then no one in the Big 12 has ever done it. So he's really the first in the Big 12, and just such a talent. We knew he was when we saw him at a Wichita Falls Hershey High School, and but you know, to be able to do all three, especially in this short amount of time, like indoors, you've only got 5 weeks or so to qualify in the top 16 in each event. Pretty incredible for him to be top 16 in all three.
How are his legs with doing all that?
Well, you know, it is hard on him. You know, the best event right off the bat is the long jump for him right now, kind of how he's been. So that's going to be good that he opens up with it. And then the high jump and triple jump. We always like the triple jump to be last. And at conference, it became second. So I think it hurt him in his high jump there. But we're hoping that this won't be quite as bad at the indoor nationals because they're in the order they should be. And hopefully, you know, he started off right on Friday in the long jump.
What'd you like that you saw at Big 12s, just from both sides, that you're trying to kind of fine-tune and tweak for this weekend?
Yeah, we're a better outdoor team, but just the way we're made right now, we're getting more and more closer to an indoor team. But, you know, nearly scoring 100 points, 99.5 in the men. We put so many people in the lanes. I told the kids that night, we got to fill up the lanes, and we did that. And just had a really, I thought, a solid meet. We had to have just an exceptional meet, and Texas and Kansas had to have average meets, and of course they had good meets. So I couldn't complain with our kids, mainly just everybody coming together and everybody filling up lanes, and it wasn't one group doing it, it took the whole team. That's what I liked about the indoors Big 12.
Where do you think that Virshni has grown the most over the extent of her career here at Tech?
Well, we call her she's the strongest girl on our team in the weight room, and so she set the precedent there in the weight room, I think, for the younger kids to know what expectations are for our program. And so she came here and just got really strong, started listening to Coach Thomas, and just got better and better every year, and just such a great example, I think, to the young girls on our team.
What are your thoughts now on your running order for your weight leg?
Well, we're not totally 100% sure, but one thing indoors you have to do is you almost have to put your best guy leading off because you cannot get behind indoors. So you know, it'll be Kyle Collins probably, or maybe Andrew Hudson. But I think that's what we'll have to do. We're in that first heat. They run 3 heats, and we're in the first one, so we need to be able to win that heat and to set up those guys to have a chance to be All-American.
It's just one round, right? Not a final?
There's just one round in the 4x4, so that's one good thing.
And then behind Collins and Hudson, then you're going to go.
You know, it'll be Charles Jones, or it'll be Vincent Crisp, and then probably to Champlin. And Charles Jones is getting healthier and healthier, and so we ran him for the first time all year at the Big 12, and he ran just about the same split as the rest of them. So I think he's ready to run much faster, which could really get us in that 304 range, we hope, if everybody runs good, and give us a chance to really do well.
Well, it seems like for the last several years, we've always talked about the high jump as well, going into whether it was indoor or outdoor. That's obviously where Trey at the indoor picked up his first national title last year. He feels like he's kind of right there. What does he just kind of need to do to get over the top individually in some of these tournaments, specifically this weekend?
It's almost like he can jump almost 7.3 every week, and then he jumps at 7.5. And of course, things have to be perfect when you start jumping that high. And he's been all over it all year, and will be real consistent. I think the one thing that's different, in all fairness to the nation, is the high jump's just much better overall. You know, 7.2.5 is 16th, and then 7.5 with the kid at USC is leading right now. So it's just so even, and you got to really be on. A&M is a tough place to jump. We've been there before. I think a lot of people may not jump as well there. It's a harder surface. It's not as easy to jump off of like it is at some of the ones that have boards. You get a little spring off the board. So I think he'll handle that well because we've been there, but that's my hope, is some of the other ones won't.
Well, like in high school, we really kind of didn't do weights as much, but I mean, I was like still one of the strongest girls. But when I came here, I honestly couldn't lift the bar. So I had to work like extremely hard, and I just noticed that I could become stronger, so that's what I aimed for.
How do you feel like some of the things that you learned in the weight room translated over to what you were able to do
It definitely gave me more power, and I learned that with more power I could like make more speed, and that has helped with all of my events so far as running, jumping higher and further, and maintaining speed on the runway.
As you're
So
approaching,
I'm sorry.
sorry,
Have
Sean.
so were you, as you did more and more in the weight room, were you doing it because this is what I need to do to get better, or did you actually get to where you really liked it?
Okay, so it was to get better, and I did like it, and I'm kind of competitive. So like I like challenge some of the boys. Like if I beat you this week, then this, and then like they'll be like, well, you're not gonna beat me. So it's like a little competition we had in the weight room. They would always beat me, but it was just fun that I was able to like sort of keep up with them. So it was more of a competitive and trying to get better type thing.
Where are your nerves at just before a weekend like this? Like do you get too high or too low, or do you get a little bit of jitters before a national championship type weekend?
I get extremely like jittery, like hype type thing, and then sometimes that'll mess me up because I'll start to worry about what I need to do instead of just going out there and do what I normally do. So like that would be my biggest like excitement slash jittery moment before the big meets.
Are you ever able to like feed off of that, or I guess how do you just kind of temper that so that you're able to just kind of go out and perform how you know you can?
Sometimes I use it. Like if I'm extremely hype, I have to like literally sit down before I jump, and have to like put my head down and just like take a few deep breaths so I can like calm my heart rate down. Start thinking, okay, let's go out here and do what you normally do. Don't try to do nothing crazy. And then when I get on the runway, I try to get like the crowd with me, and it keeps like me hype, but not like the crazy type hype. So it does feed into it a little bit.
Seemed like the triple jump marks are really good this year. I mean, just across the board.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good. What do you think the competition's going to be like?
It's probably going to be way more stiff than it has over the years. Like, I have never been a part of this track program to where like everyone is jumping so much better than they were. Like my freshman year, 41 made it, and then sophomore year, 42 made it. Now, my senior year, if you didn't jump above a 43.5, you're not in the top 16. So, like, that's crazy improvement over these 4 years. So, it's going to be pretty intense.
Is that 43.9?
Mm-hmm.
That's your best, right?
Indoors, yeah.
Indoors? And you're just, 14th, barely in?
Mm-hmm.
I know you kind of talked about competing with the guys. You ever compete with Charles Brown on the other side?
You know, when I compete with him, I have to literally like take off like 2-3 feet. So I compete at a like space. Yes. So like if we're doing like short approach and he just busts a 48, I'm like, well, at short approach, I'm just gonna try to hit like a 42, and that's like the only competition we have.
You guys ever like able to like bounce ideas or share tips with each other?
Oh yeah, definitely. All the time. I'm helping him, he helps me, because we watch each other when we're jumping, and sometimes we each see something that the other one's doing that we can help.
What's maybe the best piece of advice that you guys have been able to gain from each other?
Both of us to calm down. We get super hype, and he gets more frustrated because he's like, I know I can do this, I should be doing it, and I get to the point where like, oh, I don't know why I'm doing this, and like we just like, hey, just calm down, take your time, you got this, and then we pretty much get it together on the next jump.
Anything else?
Just as the women's team overall, what'd you see at the Big 12s that you guys can build on headed into this weekend?
We all placed, like even the freshmen, like that was we haven't had that many people place since I've been here since like my freshman year, and that's with like Sierra and Tristan, all the big time hitters that's gone now. And it was really good to see like so many freshmen and lower classmen stepping up and getting on the podium this year than we've had since jumps. You know, we always hit hard, but now the sprints have caught up and they're like putting up numbers. So I'm extremely happy to see what we're finna do and excited to see what we're finna do this outdoor.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know the other two guys that have done it, but I mean it's a pretty cool stat, but it's not a stat that I try to focus too much on. I just try to do what I always do, which is just track.
Talking with Vershini, she was saying going into a weekend like this, like it's almost like she's got to control her emotions, like not to get too hyped, not to get like too high or do things outside of the norm. Like, what's your routine going into a weekend like this? Where are your emotions, jitters headed into a national championship type weekend?
I mean, kind of how she said. We treat it basically as we do every other weekend. We're going to treat practice the same. Our coach, Coach Thomas, always says, don't try to do something superhuman that you have never done before. He said, do what you always do your job, and you'll be okay.
How do your legs feel? Of course, I know you're accustomed to doing all that jumping all year since high school, but competing at a very high level, are the legs still good?
My legs are still good. They're still fresh. With the help of our trainers every day and getting rub outs and ice cold testing, everything's been going good. So, pretty healthy.
What order do you prefer to jump in? Do you like to jump in?
Usually doesn't matter. However, I do like for triple jump to be last because triple jump does take the most out of you. So as long as triple jump is last, it doesn't matter if high or long jump is first.
I know, Coach, you kind of mentioned the surface being a little bit different at A&M. I mean, is it different with the triple jump? And I mean, do you have to tweak anything with your approach and how you go about it just in all three of those jumps particularly?
The difference is compared to like Arkansas, the runways in Arkansas are hollow, and the ones in A&M are pretty much like the ground. So on the ground, you run a little bit faster, so your approach might be a little longer than normal, and the phases in triple jump might feel a little different. But I mean, jumping is still kind of the same form-wise and technique-wise.
What do you see from yourself at the Big 12 that you're looking to be able to build on in College Station?
I see I have really good potential in long jump. I like some stuff I could have done better, and hopefully I can do it better in long jump. My last attempt in triple, I did a lot better coming off of the board. Hopefully I can work that and get it on all of my attempts in triple, and not just the last one, which I PR'd on my last one. So,
what do your friends back in Wichita Falls think of what you've done?
They're all pretty happy for me. A lot of them, I mean, my city knows a lot about track, so they keep up with a lot of stuff, and usually they're posting results and pictures and stuff before I'm even done competing. So they know before I even tell them.
Virginie talked about how she likes to have you to kind of compete against you a little bit. There's sort of that camaraderie between the two of you. What do you feel like you've been able to learn from her?
I have learned a lot from her, just experience-wise and the way she jumps and the way she comes into competition. I learned a lot from her, and then she kind of, whenever I'm jumping bad, she comes over, she tells me, no, stop being frustrated, calm down, and do what you always do. And I do the same thing for her, and we usually end up jumping better than what we were earlier.
Anything else?
I know it kind of hit on individually what you're looking to be able to build on, but team-wise, what do you see from just the team as a whole at Big 12s that you feel like you guys are able to build on this weekend as well?
I feel like Big 12s was a little bit kind of weird to me, but I believe it was good because we had some people like Darian Tennant who wasn't expected to win, and Trey Cover who was expected to win, who didn't, but then Darian Tennant did. And we had a few other people that do well that really wasn't expected to, but I believe that just shows our depth. It shows that the many areas that we can be great in versus the ones that we always see on a normal basis. So I believe that if we were to all do great on the one day, we can be a serious threat to any team in the NCAA.
For Trey, last year that was where he, well, not in A&M, but the indoors. I can't remember if it was at A&M last year where he picked up his first national title there. You kind of feel like for him, it's almost like a comfort going back to the indoor national championships, feeling like he has a little bit more confidence because he feels like it seems like he's kind of been right there at like 7-3 this year. We're just waiting to be able to get over the hump again.
I mean, he's usually comfortable, and he comes in with a strong mindset of any competition. And coming to national, something he's already been there before. He's just really, really focused on. He really wants to do great and jump high, and he wants to potentially win. Of course, that's always anyone's goal. But I believe watching him and then following what he does, it just makes it easy for everybody else.
I know with him and Brad, they kind of had obviously a nice competition with Brad Jacorian before them. I mean, he was kind of the young gun when like Jacorian and Brad were still here, but. Listen to them like talk about their competition, like it was kind of like, I don't know how you guys kind of approach it, but I mean, do y'all ever like just go at it with each other, or have tips that y'all give each other, at least in the right setting?
We all in practice we're all so helpful with each other, with me, Corey, Brad, and Trey. But I mean, we're all very competitive. So even in practice, when we're just going off of a box. We're all competing. And me and Trey, he tells me all the time, you know, he said, don't ever think that you're supposed to lose to me, which I don't. Which, I mean, you know, he's a very good high jumper. I am chasing him, but I'm not up to his level yet, but hopefully I can get there.